This is the story of Los Angeles, a city built on dreams, ambition, and impossible odds. From ancient Chumash settlements to Spanish missions, from dusty Mexican pueblo to booming American metropolis, from orange groves to oil fields to the entertainment capital of the world. It's a story of visionaries and opportunists, of water wars and railroad barons, of immigrants chasing hope beneath the endless California sun. This is the entire history of Los Angeles. Long before the sprawling metropolis we know today, the land that would become Los Angeles was home to the Chumash people, a seafaring group of Native Americans who first settled in this region around 9000 BC. They arrived to find a land of rolling hills, fertile valleys, and abundant coastline, establishing one of the oldest continuous human presences in what is now Southern California. By about 3,000 years ago, the Chumash had developed a sophisticated coastal culture. Master boat builders and accomplished fishermen, they crafted elegant plank canoes called tommels to navigate the Pacific waters. Their settlements stretched into the Malibu area, though their heartland remained in present-day Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. They were renowned artisans, more skilled craftsmen than their Gabrieleño neighbors to the south, creating intricate baskets, shell bead currency, and cave paintings that survive to this day. In 1542, Portuguese explorer Juan Rodrigues Cabrillo sailed along California's coast, becoming the first European to document this land. When he gazed upon what is now San Pedro Bay, he named it the Bay of Smokes, a testament to the countless fires rising from Native American villages dotting the shoreline. This moment marked the beginning of a new chapter that would forever transform the region. In 1769, Spanish explorer Gaspar de Portola led an ambitious overland expedition northward from Baja California. Accompanied by soldiers, missionaries, and settlers, Portola's party became the first Europeans to travel through the Los Angeles basin by land. They camped along the river they would name El Río de Nuestra Señora, La Reina de los Ángeles, the river of Our Lady Queen of the Angels. This expedition laid the groundwork for Spanish colonization and, just 12 years later, the founding of the pueblo that would become Los Angeles. By 1797, the Spanish mission system had reached the San Fernando Valley. Mission San Fernando Rey de España rose from the earth, its whitewashed adobe walls, red-tiled roofs, and bell tower becoming a defining landmark. The mission served as a center of agriculture, livestock, and religious conversion, with Franciscan friars overseeing the labor of indigenous peoples. It was the 17th of California's 21 missions, and it helped extend Spanish influence deeper into the region surrounding the young pueblo of Los Angeles. Water meant survival, and the Spanish knew it. They engineered the Zanja Madre, the Mother Ditch, an irrigation system that channeled water from the Los Angeles River to farms, homes, and the plaza. This network of open ditches became the lifeblood of the growing pueblo. The Zanjero, or water overseer, was one of the most important officials in early Los Angeles, controlling the flow that sustained the community. This humble system of earthen canals was the ancestor of the massive water infrastructure that would later define the modern city. By 1847, Los Angeles remained a modest pueblo of low-slung adobe structures, dusty streets, and a central plaza dominated by the church. Mexico had won independence from Spain in 1821 and ruled California for over 2 decades, but that era was drawing to a close. The Mexican-American War was raging, and American forces would soon claim the territory. This quiet sketch captures Los Angeles on the brink of transformation, still a sleepy rancho town, unaware that it stood at the threshold of a new American chapter. The fate of California was decided on the banks of the San Gabriel River. On January 8, 1847, American forces under General Stephen Kearny and Commodore Robert Stockton clashed with the California defenders led by General José María Flores. Cannons roared, cavalry charged, and by day's end, the Americans had won a decisive victory. The Californios, Mexican citizens of California, fought valiantly to defend their homeland, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. The road to Los Angeles now lay open, and American control of California was all but assured. Just 5 days after the Battle of Rio San Gabriel, the war in California came to a peaceful end. At a ranch house in Campo de Cahuenga, near present-day Universal City, California leader Andrés Pico and American Lieutenant Colonel John C. Fremont sat down to negotiate. The resulting Treaty of Cahuenga was not a formal surrender, but a gentleman's agreement. The Californians would lay down their arms, and in return, they would receive full rights as American citizens. With the stroke of a pen, California passed from Mexican to American hands, forever altering the destiny of Los Angeles. By 1869, the Old Plaza Church, La Iglesia de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Ángeles, stood as the spiritual heart of Los Angeles. This was sacred ground, rooted in history stretching back to 1775, when Felipe de Neve became governor of California, and 2 years later established Los Angeles' first district, San Jose de Guadalupe. The plaza before the church had witnessed Spanish padres, Mexican rancheros, and now American settlers. Though the city was changing around it, the Old Plaza Church remained a testament to the pueblo's origins, a quiet anchor in a city beginning to stir. In 1874, a new sound echoed through the streets of Los Angeles: the clatter of hooves pulling passenger trams along iron rails. The city's first streetcars were horse-drawn, simple wooden cars that ferried residents along Main Street and beyond. It was a modest beginning, but it signaled something profound. Los Angeles was no longer content to remain a sleepy pueblo. These early streetcars were the seeds of a transportation network that would eventually shape the sprawling geography of the modern city, stretching outward in every direction. The Iron Horse had arrived. Around 1880, the Los Angeles and San Pedro Railroad Station stood as a symbol of the city's new connection to the wider world. This was the first railroad to serve Los Angeles, linking the inland city to its coastal port at San Pedro. Goods, people, and ambitions could now flow freely between the harbor and the growing town. The railroad would prove to be transformative, shattering the isolation that had kept Los Angeles a dusty backwater and setting the stage for explosive growth in the decades to come. From high above, in a hot air balloon, a photographer captured this extraordinary bird's-eye view of Los Angeles in 1887. The image reveals the orderly grid of streets, a legacy of Governor Felipe de Neve's original city plan, which called for a central public plaza surrounded by a church, administrative buildings, and blocks designated for farms and homes. What had once been a small pueblo was now spreading outward, street by street, block by block. Los Angeles, the Angels. Officially founded in 1781 by Spanish settlers, many of them families from Mexico, the city had grown from 11 humble families into a thriving commercial center by 1886. This photograph captures the energy of the era. Multi-story brick buildings line the streets, streetcars rumble past, and signs of commerce are everywhere. The Transcontinental Railroad had arrived in 1876, and a fierce rate war between the Southern Pacific and Santa Fe railroads had slashed ticket prices, triggering a flood of migration from the east. The Arcade Depot stood as Los Angeles' grand gateway to the world. From 1888 to 1914, this impressive Southern Pacific Railroad station welcomed thousands of newcomers stepping off transcontinental trains, their eyes wide with dreams of sunshine and opportunity. With its distinctive architecture, striped awnings, and towering palm trees, the depot embodied the promise of Southern California. Horse-drawn carriages and early automobiles jostled for position outside, ready to whisk arrivals into the city. Long before the skyscrapers and freeways, Los Angeles was farmland. By 1821, the same year Mexico won independence from Spain, Los Angeles had grown into the largest self-sustaining farming community in Southern California. The fertile soil of the basin, nourished by the Los Angeles River and the Zania Madre irrigation system, yielded abundant crops. Workers tended fields of grapes, citrus, and vegetables that fed the pueblo and beyond. This agricultural heritage would define the region for generations, with vast ranchos giving way to orange groves that eventually gave way to subdivisions. By 1899, Los Angeles had achieved what many thought impossible. It had built itself a world-class harbor. This view from San Pedro, looking toward Terminal Island and Long Beach, shows the bustling port taking shape. Tall masted sailing vessels bob at anchor, while railroad tracks stretch right onto the docks, connecting ship to rail in a seamless chain of commerce. The free harbor fight of the 1890s had been won. Los Angeles had defeated the Southern Pacific Railroad's scheme to build the port at Santa Monica, and instead developed San Pedro as a public harbor. In the narrow streets near the old plaza, a vibrant community flourished. Los Angeles' original Chinatown, known as Old Chinatown, was home to Chinese immigrants who had come to California seeking opportunity, many having worked on the railroads that now connected the coast. Chinese characters adorned the shop fronts, paper lanterns swayed in the breeze, and the air carried the scents of herbs and cooking from the markets and restaurants. This community faced tremendous hardship, including the Chinese massacre of 1871 and decades of discrimination. Yet it persevered. Old Chinatown would thrive in this location until the 1930s, when it was razed to make way for Union Station, but its spirit would be reborn nearby in the New Chinatown that still stands today. In 1892, everything changed. Drillers struck oil at the Los Angeles City oil field, and California's first major petroleum boom was born. Those initial wells produced about 45 barrels per day, a modest beginning to what would become a gushing fortune. Wooden derricks sprouted like a forest across the basin, and the air grew thick with the smell of crude. The same land that had seeped tar since prehistoric times, tar that Native Americans had used to waterproof their canoes, now yielded liquid wealth. This discovery would reshape Los Angeles, funding its growth, attracting investment, and eventually making Southern California synonymous with the automobile culture that oil would fuel. By 1942, oil derricks had become as much a part of the Los Angeles landscape as palm trees. This striking image shows wells pumping on what is now the Marina Peninsula neighborhood. Drilling rigs standing sentinel along the shoreline, their silhouettes reflected in the Pacific surf. The Los Angeles basin sat atop one of the richest oil deposits in America, and for decades, the city extracted this wealth with abandon. Oil funded the construction of roads, buildings, and infrastructure. It drew workers and wildcatters seeking fortune. Though most of these coastal derricks have long since vanished, the legacy of oil remains etched into the city's DNA, and some wells still pump quietly in neighborhoods across Los Angeles today. At the turn of the century, Spring Street was the undisputed heart of Los Angeles's commercial power. This view, looking north from 2nd Street, captures the city's ambition in stone and brick. The magnificent Hollenbeck Hotel rises on the southwest corner, its turrets and gables a statement of Victorian grandeur. Across the street stands the Bryson Bonebreak Block, while the county courthouse crowns Pound Cake Hill in the background. This was the Wall Street of the West, home to banks, financiers, and the deal-makers shaping Southern California's future. As the 20th century dawned, downtown Los Angeles was a city of contrasts. This view from Pershing Square captures the elegant Bunker Hill neighborhood rising in the background, a prestigious enclave of Victorian mansions, where the city's wealthy elite made their homes on the heights above the bustle of commerce. Below, multi-story commercial buildings crowded the flatlands, their ornate facades reflecting the optimism of a city on the rise. Growth demanded water, and Los Angeles was running dry. In 1912, thousands of workers toiled in the desert heat to construct one of the most ambitious engineering projects in American history, the Los Angeles Aqueduct. Massive steel pipes large enough for men to stand inside were laid across 233 miles of mountains, desert, and valley to carry water from the distant Owens Valley to the thirsty city. Masterminded by William Mulholland, the aqueduct was a marvel of determination and engineering, built without any pumps, using gravity alone. When it opened in 1913, Mulholland reportedly declared, "There it is, take it." High above the hills, giant white letters spelled out a name that would become synonymous with dreams: Hollywoodland. Erected in 1923, the original sign was never meant to be permanent. It was simply an advertisement for a new upscale real estate development in the hills above the burgeoning film colony. Each letter stood 30 feet wide and 50 feet tall, illuminated by thousands of light bulbs that blinked in sequence at night. But Hollywood had already become something far greater than a housing tract. By the 1920s, the movie industry had transformed this once quiet district into the entertainment capital of the world. The sign, intended to last only a year or two, would endure, though the land would eventually be removed in 1949, leaving the iconic Hollywood that still watches over the city today. By 1925, Los Angeles had developed its own distinctive architectural voice, and nowhere was it more dramatically expressed than in the California Churrigueresque style. St. Vincent de Paul Church rose as a masterpiece of this ornate Spanish Baroque revival, its intricate facade dripping with sculptural detail, its bell tower reaching toward the California sky. The style celebrated the region's Spanish colonial heritage while adding Hollywood-scale drama. Churches, theaters, and civic buildings across the city embraced this lavish aesthetic during the 1920s, creating landmarks that announced Los Angeles as a city of beauty, ambition, and unashamed grandeur. St. Vincent de Paul remains one of the finest examples of this exuberant era in LA architecture. In 1931, aviation was still an adventure, and Los Angeles was determined to lead the way into the sky. This aerial view captures Los Angeles Municipal Airport on Army Day, when military aircraft filled the tarmac for public display. The modest facility, surrounded by open fields and bean farms, had been dedicated just a year earlier on a stretch of land near the coast. Few could have imagined that this humble airfield would evolve into Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, one of the busiest airports on Earth. Nothing transformed Los Angeles more dramatically than the freeway. From the 1940s through the 1960s, construction crews carved 527 miles of high-speed highways through the urban landscape, connecting LA to San Francisco, San Diego, and dozens of communities in between. The scale was staggering, and so was the human cost. 250,000 residents were displaced as entire neighborhoods were demolished to make way for the concrete rivers of traffic. Communities of color, particularly in East Los Angeles and South Central, bore the heaviest burden as freeways severed historic districts and displaced families. By 1940, this ornate wrought iron gate had become one of the most famous entrances in the world. The Paramount Pictures studio on Melrose Avenue was the last major studio still located within Hollywood itself, a dream factory where legends were made. Through this arch passed the greatest stars of cinema's golden age: Marlene Dietrich, Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, and countless others who became household names around the globe. Workers gather at the gate in this photograph, some perhaps extras hoping for a day's work, others crew members heading to sound stages, where entire worlds were built and dismantled in a single week. From wartime aerospace boom to post-war suburban sprawl, Los Angeles never stopped reinventing itself. The city weathered the Watts riots of 1965, the 1992 uprising, and devastating earthquakes, yet emerged stronger each time. It became America's most diverse metropolis, a global hub of entertainment, technology, and trade, the Pacific Rim Gateway, home to dreamers from every nation. Today, with nearly 4 million residents, Los Angeles stands as proof that a desert basin, through ambition and audacity, can become one of the world's great cities. From Chumash villages to a sprawling megalopolis, the city of angels endures,